In this video, we'll be looking at the 18 terrible wide receivers that Bill Belichick has drafted. Let's start the video. Superman has kryptonite, Batman has, well, no actual superpowers, and Bill Belichick has the inability to draft wide receivers. Although, this doesn't make any sense. Bill Belichick is undoubtedly the greatest coach of all time. He has drafted the greatest quarterback of all time, the greatest tight end, and countless other great players. So how can the greatest coach of all time be bad at drafting wide receivers? To start, we have to look at the 18 wide receivers he has drafted as the Patriots general manager and head coach since 2000. Now, instead of going by year, I will be going through the players by each round they were selected in. Surprisingly enough, as you get closer to the first round, his draft picks get worse and worse. To begin, let's look at the 7th round. Bill Belichick hasn't done too bad with the 6 players he has drafted in this round. For starters, you aren't really expecting much from a 7th round draft pick, so any production you do get from these players is good production. That being said, 3 out of the 6 players were not good. Jeremy Ebert, Jeremy Gallon, and Devin Lucen. They all combined for 0 yards and 0 touchdowns for the Patriots. Trey Nixon was drafted in this year's draft and has yet to have the chance to play in an NFL game. On the other hand, David Givens was a pretty good draft pick for the Patriots, putting up 2,214 yards over 4 seasons. And finally, Julian Edelman, the best receiver so far and one of the best playoff performers of all time. In the 6th round is when things start to get ugly for Bill Belichick. Being the only selection in this round, Braxton Berrios was placed on the IR a few months after he was drafted by the Patriots in 2018, where he was then picked up by the Jets. He has never played a game for the Patriots, but he has played in 32 games for the Jets. The 5th round. Bill Belichick selected 2 receivers in this round. Kind of. The first receiver, PK Sam, only appeared in 2 games in his career. He actually never caught a pass in the NFL. Then, despite being drafted as a wide receiver, Matthew Slater is a 9-time Pro Bowler and a 2-time All-Pro for special teams. He has only caught 1 pass in his NFL career, but he is one of the best special teams players in the league. The 4th round. The 2 players that Belichick drafted in this round is rather weird. Josh Boyce only playing 2 seasons in the NFL and Malcolm Mitchell only playing 1 season. Both these players only combined for 522 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns. Yet, they still somehow both walked away with a Super Bowl ring in their short careers. The 3rd round. 2 players were selected in this round as well. Brandon Tate found his stride in the NFL as a kick returner. He had a good 10-year career, but only spent 2 years in New England. He did not do much with the Patriots. Then, Taylor Price was on the Patriots for a year and a half before getting cut from the roster. He was out of the league within 3 years. The 2nd round. Now this is when it gets truly bad for Bill Belichick. Since 2000, he has selected 4 players in the 2nd round. One of the picks was actually a good selection. Deion Branch was a key player in the Patriots' first dynasty and had over 4,000 yards with them. Although the other 3 were nothing less than terrible. Bethel Johnson was mainly a kick returner and had no real impact on the offense. He was off the team within 3 years. Chad Jackson only caught 13 passes for 152 yards with the Patriots and was off the team in 2 years. And finally, Aaron Dobson only had 698 receiving yards with the Patriots and was off the team in 3 years. And last, but certainly not least, the 1st round. What has to be the worst wide receiver Bill Belichick has drafted? N'Keal Harry was selected with the 32nd overall pick in the 2019 draft. So far in his 2 years in the NFL, N'Keal Harry has only put up 412 receiving yards and has demanded a trade. In total, Bill Belichick has drafted 18 wide receivers. 13 of them are bad, 2 are good, 1 that has yet to play in the NFL, 1 that isn't even a wide receiver in the NFL, and 1 that was above average in the regular season and great in the postseason. Along with that, Bill Belichick's boldest wide receiver draft pick might have possibly caused Tom Brady to leave New England. When the Patriots drafted N'Keal Harry in 2019, DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, and Terry McLaurin were still on the board. Now, I'm not going to say that the N'Keal Harry draft pick or the fact that they had no weapons on offense made Tom Brady leave, but having a player like AJ Brown as a receiver would have probably been a good reason for Tom to stay, especially for the fact that AJ Brown was a Patriots fan as a kid and was devastated when they didn't draft him. To truly put into perspective how bad Bill Belichick is at drafting wide receivers, if we take a look at the top 10 players in receiving yards in Patriots franchise history, only 2 receivers that Bill Belichick has drafted are in this top 10. And if we take a look at the top 10 players in receiving yards that were drafted by Bill Belichick, there are only 4 wide receivers. The other 6 spots belong to 4 tight ends and 2 running backs. Finally, probably the most Bill Belichick stat ever. Out of all the wide receivers he has ever drafted, none of them have ever gone to the Pro Bowl for the wide receiver position, but 9 of them have won a Super Bowl ring. Bill Belichick has done it all as the head coach and general manager of the Patriots, won 6 Super Bowls, broken almost every coaching record, and drafted some of the best players in NFL history. There's just one flaw in his game: the ability to draft wide receivers. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Alright, I'll see you guys next time.